everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing my September book haul, which is full of fall 2020 new releases. I've done a couple of really giant book hauls this year, and I will admit this one is bigger than I expected, but the sole reason for that is because it's pre-orders. So a lot of these books, I mean, I would say that there's only, like, I actually hauled them in a vlog. There's only a couple in here that I just bought on a whim. They weren't pre-orders. So the rest of them are books that have come out recently and I have been highly anticipating and waiting for. And then the other ones are ones that I was actually sent by publishers. So I haven't gone crazy and spent my money on a ton of books. I have been really calm with that and been really good about it. It's just right now is a big time for new releases because at the end of the year around September, those first couple of weeks, especially the first Tuesday of September, a ton of big new releases come out because they're trying to get them out before Christmas. So there have been a lot of books that have come out in the past couple of weeks and this list has really started to balloon. So I was like, I should do a book haul. And also I'm gonna try and do monthly book hauls again because for some reason, I don't know when, but I picked up a habit of just hoarding and saving all my books for one giant ridiculous book haul. I can't really tell you why I started doing that because I never did before. I used to try and do them monthly, so I'm going to get back to that, and then if I don't have enough books one month, then it's fine. It's not a big deal. But yeah, let's just get into the book haul. So first up is Now That I've Found You by Kristina Forrest. I actually realized yesterday that this is the same author as the ballet book here, this one. I didn't even realize that yet. I haven't gotten the chance to read this one yet, but I'm really excited to. But I Want to Be Where You Are is the ballet road trip book, and this is the same author, but this is a new release by her. When I saw this cover, I was immediately intrigued because I love it so much, but then when I read the synopsis, I also was like, I need this in my hands. Something about it sounds so good. So it is about the main character who is set to be Hollywood's next big star, following the footsteps of her grandmother, but her grandmother is really reclusive and there's an issue because someone blackmails her and she ends up getting delisted, or I don't think that's the right word, but basically she is blacklisted. That's what I was looking for. So she wants her grandmother to help her, but her grandmother has been out of the limelight for like 20 years and she ends up actually disappearing right before the main character is supposed to present her with an award. So she takes off across New York City trying to find her grandmother, and she's also with this musician who she's not sure if she can trust, so kind of getting some enemies to lovers, hate to love sort of vibes there for the romance. But I love the Hollywood aspect of it, although it is set in New York, which is kind of surprising. But I find that generally when I read books about Hollywood, I do tend to enjoy them. When I was a kid, I used to absolutely love them. So this sounds like a very unique concept and I'm really looking forward to it. Next is You Had Me At Ola, which I'm sorry if I'm saying Ola incorrectly. I thought I was saying it correctly and I googled the pronunciation, but then someone said I wasn't, so if you could like tell me how I'm saying it incorrectly, I would appreciate that. I don't speak Spanish at all. Like, we don't learn it in school here. We learn French instead, so I have no basis for it, but I did think I was saying it right, but I'm sure I'm not, and I would like to be corrected. But anyways, this is an adult romance that is centering around telenovelas. I can't remember if I hauled this in my last haul. I don't think I did though. I think I got it right after, but I have heard some amazing things about this, and I think the telenovela sort of soap opera world, having a romance set on those sets, is going to be very dramatic and a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I think I just said the exact same thing about the last book, and I'm gonna try and not say that about every book, but I really am looking forward to all of them. Speaking of a book I'm really looking forward to, next is Unbirthday by Liz Braswell. This is the latest installment in the Twisted Tales series, and I actually did a video inspired by this book about books that I'm late to read, so I'll link that down below if you guys wanted to go and check that out. But I cannot wait to read this. It is Alice in Wonderland. So the Twisted Tales series is just a Disney series that is taking typical like Disney fairy tales and twisting them. So it answers a question, and for this one it is, what if Wonderland was in peril and Alice was running very, very late? So I think that it's going to be very dramatic, kind of a bit of a darker retelling. I have quite a few of the Twisted Tales series. I don't have all of them yet, but I know I have been saying for like at least a year now that I'm going to do a readathon of all of them, and I am going to do it. I'm going to try and find a time in October or November, or maybe even December, but probably not. Nope, not December. I meant to say September. Basically, if I can squeeze it in before December and Bookmas and the end of the year, I'm going to try to. If not, it will be in early 2021. So I promise I am going to do it at some point, and I will let you know when I'm going to do it on Instagram. I will let you guys know when I'm going to do it, and yeah, I hope that I will be able to do it this year, especially because I really super want to read this one, and also just a week of all the Disney stuff sounds amazing. Next is Forrester Souls by Lori M. Lee. This was actually one of my most anticipated releases for this year, and I think for good reason. It sounds really interesting. So I'm kind of getting some necromancy vibes from it, because the main character, she has been training for years to become the queen's next royal spy, which sounds like very high stakes and super cool, but then all her plans are derailed because her best friend ends up dying, and then somehow she brings her best friend back to life. So she is unveiled as the first living soul guide in memory, and there's something with a spider king or something. I don't even know, but it kind of sounds perfect for fall. I didn't really realize until now, the whole necromancy vibe definitely sounds like it would be great for fall, so I might try and get to this in the next couple of months, but we all know my fall reading list is very, very, very long. Actually, you will see my fall reading list next week. That is one of my videos for next week. I forgot because I was just editing it that you guys won't see it before this video, because this video is going up before that one, but you will see it soon, and of course, it's a very long list. Next is The Other Side of the Sky by Amie Kaufman and Meagan Spooner. These are the co-authors of the Starbound trilogy, which has These Broken Stars, Their Fractured Light, This Shattered World, I think is the second one, and they also co-wrote Unearthed, which I only got the chance to read the first book for that series. I can't remember if I still have the second one, or I did decide to unhaul it, but I really enjoyed the first one. It was just kind of a matter of I waited so long. But this sounds really weird. I don't exactly know what to make of it. The synopsis is also very vague, but it follows a prince and then this other girl who's a goddess, and there's the city that's in the sky, and it is held up by technology and mechanics and, well, mechanisms, not really mechanics, but the goddess is on the surface, and the two of them are intertwined in this prophecy. I honestly have no clue what's going to happen in this book. I just have read a lot of stuff from these two authors, so I felt like I should pre-order it and see what their latest release is going to be. Also, there's a little cat on it, so that is definitely promising, but I think it's just going to be a really kind of weird genre-bending story. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Magonia, which is from BookTube forever ago, but that book I liked a lot, so I don't know. We'll see what this one's all about. I did want to show you guys the spine because it is absolutely beautiful. The colors and everything, I love it. Next is Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboi and Yusef Salaam. I am so excited to have this book for a couple of reasons. One, I love Ibi Zoboi. I have read a number of her books now. There are still some that are on my to-read list, to pick up eventually list, which is never ending, but I've enjoyed everything that I have read by her, and every book that I've read by her really makes me think, and this pairing sounds absolutely incredible. So Yusef Salaam is of the exonerated 5, so he was wrongly accused of a crime and actually served time for it. Now he does work as a speaker, but the case is the Central Park jogger case, so I encourage you to look more into it, but this book is actually kind of a similar idea. So it's fictional, obviously, but it is following a boy who is wrongfully accused of a crime and is sent to jail because of it. It's a novel in verse, which I have been loving so much lately, and I think that it's going to be really powerful. There's also some different illustrations added to it as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this, hopefully really soon. I'm definitely going to try and make it a priority. Next is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is definitely going to be read in the next couple of months because it deals with a ghost, and it isn't it's kind of a ghost story, but basically the main character, he is a trans boy, and his Latinx family isn't taking his identity identity seriously. They're not accepting it, and that's very hard for him. So he wants to prove his identity to them, and in doing so, he ends up doing this ritual, performing a ritual, and he summons a ghost, but it's not the ghost that he's expecting. So he actually ends up summoning the ghost of the school bad boy who does not want to go back to being a ghost. So he summons him, and then he's kind of stuck with him and has to help him do his final things that he wants to do before going to his final resting place. So I feel like that concept is really interesting, definitely very unique, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book prior to its release, so I cannot wait for it. This one also has a really beautiful cover, and it has roses on this, and I love that color too. It is just beautiful. Next is Set Fire to the Gods by Sarah Rosh and Kristen Simmons. So I haven't read anything by Kristen Simmons, but Sarah Rosh is the author of Snow Lake Ashes, which I read that trilogy and liked it a lot. She also is the author of These Rebel Waves, which I don't even know if I still have. I don't think I do have it anymore, but I never got the chance to actually read that one. However, this sounds very interesting. So it's gladiators, but also some elemental magic in here as well. I don't really know how that combination is going to work, but I feel like the gladiator angle sounds really interesting and kind of different for a fantasy, so I'm excited. Next up is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This follows Bree, who is in a residential program at a university that caters to gifted high school students. Now, she's trying to escape her hometown because her mother died recently in an accident, and she is struggling to cope with that. But this is a contemporary fantasy, so she witnesses a magical attack on her first night on campus, and the teenage mage who goes by Merlin tries to wipe her memory so she won't remember what she saw, but he fails, and it ends up uncovering some secret powers within her. And there's also these Legendborns. They're a secret society that hunts creatures like the demon that she saw that first night down. So I don't really know what to make of this, really. I feel like the secret society of magic fighters sounds super, super cool, and once again, a book that I've heard some great things about. Next is Traitor by Amanda McCrina. This was actually sent to me unsolicited by the publisher, but I'm super excited for it. It sounds really, really good, and you guys know how I've been feeling about historical fiction lately. So this is another World War II historical fiction. It's set in 1944, but it's set in Poland, and I haven't really read much Eastern European historical fiction, so I'm really looking forward to hearing a little bit more about that side of things. It's all about Poland after the Soviet liberation, so definitely really interested in this one. Next is Shiny Broken Pieces by Sona, Charaipotra, and Dhonielle Clayton. This is one of the books from that order that I was talking about that I made where the books like aren't new releases, but I did have a coupon, so it was 25% off or something like that, but then I also had I had 35%, I don't know. Basically, they were on sale. So I didn't get that many actual reading books. I got this one, Forrester Souls, and then I have some other books that are just little like extra things that I'll show you at the end of this video. But this is the sequel to Tiny Pretty Things, which I really enjoyed when I read it. So I had to get the sequel, especially because that one left off on such a cliffhanger, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what is going to happen. It's basically just a drama-filled story all about this Manhattan ballet school, and you follow 3 different characters who are all having different experiences at this school, but there's a lot of stuff happening. So it's actually, the first book is going to be a Netflix. I'm not sure if it's a show or a movie, but I know they're adapting it. I'm not sure when it's coming out either, but I'm definitely going to have to look more into that because I'm super excited for it. Now, the audiobook for this one became available to me today. I'm filming this September 9th, so I'm hoping to listen to it really soon. After I finish my current listen, I will definitely be listening to this one. Next is This Is My America by Kim Johnson. In this book, we follow Tracy Beaumont, who has been writing letters to Innocent's ex, asking them to help her father out because he is on death row and he only has so much time left and he's innocent, so she really needs them to help him out. Now, the unthinkable happens and the police show up at her door accusing her brother of killing a white girl, so she becomes determined to save her brother and figure out the truth about what really has happened. So I think this is definitely going to be a not easy read, but a really necessary one. And I love this cover. Once again, it is so beautiful and very, very powerful. Like, both sides of it are just completely I really enjoy it. But I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some more about what this book has to say. I haven't really seen too many reviews. It's blurbed by Nick Stone, who's the author of Dear Martin, so that is promising. But the back says, they look at my father and think murderer. They look at my brother and think thug. They look at me and think I'll be quiet. They are wrong. So that alone like gives me chills, so I can't wait to read this. Next, I was sent a finished copy of 10 Things I Hate About Pinky by Sandhya Menon. So I have all of the books in this. I don't even know what it's actually called, but I think it's all set in the world of When Dimple Met Rishi, and I have read 2 of the books so far. There are 4 of them, so I have this one and There's Something About Sweetie. I keep getting the titles for all of them mixed up because they kind of have a similar vibe, so I'm always like, There's Something About Pinky and 10 Things I Hate About Sweetie, but that's not the right combination. But this is all about Pinky, who is a social activist, and it is all about her romance love story. Next, I was also sent The Black Kids by Kristina Hammonds Reed. I once again can't remember if I hauled this in my last haul, but I don't think that I did, so I apologize if I'm being repetitive. But this is a historical fiction, actually set in 1992, so kind of sad that's historical fiction. I was born in 95, so I'm like, well, we're getting close there. But it is set during the Rodney King riots, so it follows our main character who lives in LA, and she's watching her city go into flames and be engulfed in these protests. And she goes from being just one of the girls to being one of the black kids, to being othered in that way. And it's about her experiences as these protests are going on and she is being discriminated against. So we have another beautiful cover. All these books have such gorgeous covers, but I think that this is going to be a really informative read because it's not something that I know too much about, but definitely timely as well. Next is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. This is another book that was on my most anticipated books of the year list, and I'm super excited that I have it. My pre-order took a long time to get to me, but I finally got it. So this is a dark, sort of twisted feminist retelling of Cinderella. So the actual Cinderella fairy tale happened a long time ago, and now they're in this kingdom, and in this kingdom, all the girls, once they hit a certain age, they are matched up with a suitor, and if no suitable match is found, then they disappear. I don't know what happens to them, but that sounds very, very ominous. The main character of this, Sophia, would much rather marry her best friend Erin, so she ends up fleeing, and upon fleeing, she ends up finding the last known descendant of Cinderella, and together they team up to try and bring this really twisted kingdom down. So I think that sounds super, super cool and definitely like something that might be good for fall. Now, the last couple of novels that I have here are adult romances. Then I have a few classics to show you and actually a couple of cookbooks. So next is A Party of Two by Jasmine Gilroy. I have read The Wedding Date by this author and I wasn't a huge fan, but I think it's because I was expecting something different going into it. So I'm going to give her another chance and I'm hoping that I will really like this one. In this book, we follow Olivia Munro, who has moved to LA to start her own law firm, and dating is the absolute last thing on her mind until she ends up meeting this young senator, and they kind of have to have a secret relationship and they end up just hitting things off, and it sounds like just kind of an unexpected romance between two people that are just very compatible. And I've just heard such amazing things about Jasmine Gilroy, so I'm hoping this book will turn things around for me. Although Royal Holiday I also pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the paperback for that one because it is a Christmassy royal romance, and that sounds like my cup of tea. And finally is Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. This is another adult romance, and it is about 4 brothers who are trying to save a family knitting shop from their foster mom turned adoptive mother. It also has a second chance romance, I believe, because our main male character, Jesse, he turns to his old childhood best friend who he doesn't know, but she has had a crush on him for as long as they have known each other. So definitely getting some second chance romance vibes there. And like the knitting, I'm super into knitting and all that stuff. I mean, not myself, like I couldn't do it. I'd get way too frustrated. but like the nifty knitting stuff pack on Sims is really cool. So that's just what I think of. So like I said, that's all for novels. Now quickly, I have some cookbooks to show you and some new classics editions that I picked up. So like I mentioned, I had a coupon, so I decided to get the rest of the Minalima editions that I don't have. Now I have all of them. Previously, I only had Alice and The Little Mermaid and The Jungle Book. So now I have added to my collection Peter Pan, which I believe is the first one that they did. I can't entirely remember, but I'm pretty sure. And then The Secret Garden and Pinocchio, The Adventures of Pinocchio, which is the newest one that they've done, and Beauty and the Beast. So I'm super excited to have all of these. If you haven't seen these editions before, they are so cool. Not only are they beautiful on the outside, but they are so incredible on the inside. Like they have a lot of kind of, I don't want to say multimedia elements to it, but interactive elements is what I'm trying to think of. So like, I don't want to break this, but look at it, actually becomes a theater. Oh my goodness. These are just so incredible. So much fun. Like actual Pinocchio. I just love the care that goes into these, and they are a bit pricier, but like really not that unreasonable for, I don't know how the printing process for this would work because I feel like it would be complicated. I guess it's no different than like a kid's touch and feel book, but still. I love the fact that I have all these editions now. I definitely plan on collecting them as they come out with more. I don't know if they are coming out with more. I'm gonna have to look into that. And finally, I have some cookbooks. So I'll start off with the literary ones, and then I just have some random cookbooks. I do have quite the cookbook collection going now because I love cooking. If you guys don't know, I often post what I'm cooking on Instagram, so you can follow me there if you're interested in that. But I will do a dedicated cookbook collection video at some point. I'm just not exactly sure when. So I have the Little Woman cookbook here. This is by Winnie Morinville, and it has inspiring quotes from Louisa May Alcott and tempting recipes from the March sisters and their friends and family. I love the idea of kind of starting like a little collection of cookbooks that have to do with books. So these are definitely like kind of older style American recipes, but I think it's just so much fun and definitely really, really cute. Like, that looks delicious, so maybe I'll do a video where I make recipes from these, but I don't know because I've done cooking videos in the past and I like doing them, but they're also so much work and then they end up tanking, so I don't know if I will actually end up doing that. I also got the Anne of Green Gables cookbook, and this is by Kate McDonald, so I think these are like the same sort of idea. I don't know, are they the same publisher? No, they're not. Well, they look very similar, but this is Charming Recipes from Anne and Her Friends in Avonlea by Kate McDonald and Ellen Montgomery. So I don't know if this has the entire text of the story in it, but these I'm thinking are going to be some traditional Canadian recipes. So I love that. Also, the book is just super, super cute. But we have Davy and Dora's Monkey Faces, Matthew Cuthbert's Yummy Biscuit Sandwich, Marilla's Plum Pudding, just like so many fun things and pictures in it, and it's just really nice to have. I also had asked you guys, I think it was when I unboxed these in a vlog, but I was talking about how I wanted an Alice cookbook, or maybe it was when I talked about my Pride and Prejudice one, but I found one, and I actually, one of you guys commented this, so thank you to whoever did that, but I had seen this at work once and I just never ended up buying it, and I figured that we would get it again, and we never did, but I was able to find it thanks to one of you. So this is Alice Eats, a Wonderland cookbook, and it has words and pictures by Pierre A. Lemiel and Julie Van Rosendale. So it has recipes inspired by the stories and the characters, and also has the story itself in here. We have the Cook's Pork and Pepper Soup. Oh my god, I just love this so much. Brandy Snap to it. Just, it's adorable, and I feel like it's going to have a little bit of everything that you would need for a tea party specifically. Now I just have 3 more cookbooks to show you here. These ones aren't literary at all. I have What's Gabby Cooking? Eat What You Want by Gabby Dalkin. This is the second cookbook by this author, and actually the second one that I own by her. I have made something from here, so I got the chance to make the, I forget what they're called. Taco stuffed peppers is what it was. I don't know if I can actually find the recipe for you guys, but I tried those and they were really good. So the recipe called for quinoa in it, but quinoa was real expensive and I don't really know how to make it and it doesn't really appeal to me that much. So I subbed in rice and it was still very delicious. I can't find them at all though. Oh, I actually made another thing from this week. So I made the jerk chicken burgers, which were delicious. Those were very, very yummy. So I made these this past week and they were excellent, like really different for a chicken burger, but it was a nice refreshing change from the usual. But yeah, I really like her recipes. They are super yummy, kind of remind me of Summer, I think, because they're more like California style, if that makes sense, but definitely recommend. She is one of the bloggers that I follow, so she has a bunch of recipes on her blog too that I've tried. And finally, I picked up a Magnolia Table and Magnolia Table Volume 2 by Joanna Gaines. I picked this up because I saw something, I think it was on BuzzFeed, where they were talking about the chocolate chip cookie recipe from here, and I had to try it. And it was really good, but they were both really on sale too, which is partially why I picked them up. And there are a ton of really good sort of farm style recipes in here and definitely some more stuff that I want to try. The only thing that I've made so far is the cookies, but I want to try the entrees as well. So that's all for today's book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked seeing the cookbooks at the end too. Let me know if you would be interested in more of that. But yeah, I have tons of new books here that I'm really excited to, fingers crossed, to get to in the next little bit, but I have a never-ending reading list, so who knows when I'll actually be able to get to them. But thank you guys so much for watching today's book haul. Let me know if you have read any of these books, your thoughts on them, if you liked them, which ones I should try and get to the soonest. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video soon. Bye!